you should be thinking about that. But when you're in that situation, I don't know, you crumble. I crumbled. You may not. I crumbled. And I think the other problem that I had was within the organisation, I didn't have strong people around me who could say, you need to do this, you need to do that. I was the leader and everyone looked to me. So the other big mistake I made was not having a group like TiE, having mentors, having people around me that I could just pick up the phone and say, what do you think I should do? I was too, even though I come across as really confident, I was at that stage just too scared to reach out to people and ask them for advice. And that was a big mistake. So my investors are fantastic. They've been hugely supportive. But if I say to them, I need to get another client in India that's like Genpact, they can't help me, right? And they don't understand the nuances of the Indian market. So that was a challenge. So we raised the first round of funding, and that was enough to get us going. We then won a very prestigious accreditation, but it was a very expensive accreditation. And it meant that our books had this stamp on them, which would mean that students across the world would buy them. So we then had to do the second round of funding. At that stage, it was easy. I mean, literally, I was very good at keeping in touch with my investors. I went over to the UK every 3 months. We had board meetings. We would send them detailed reports. And that's one thing. Don't ignore your investors. I know so many people who tell me, oh yeah, I only talk to them when they ring me up, kind of thing, saying, how's everything going and when am I going to see money? I would say to you, your investors are your best friends. So I was in touch with a couple of the key ones on a regular basis. By the way, one of them was the guy who recruited me into BPP. So he's still he's my champion mentor. Great guy, but very UK-centric, doesn't understand India. So getting more money for that second round to raise the money for the accreditation and everything really was not a challenge. They just gave the money, literally within 6 weeks we had the money. Then the downfall happened. We had a finance director who didn't, I don't think, did a brilliant job. And I know I'm a chartered accountant, but as an entrepreneur you all know that you are juggling many things. I had many hats. And he didn't say to me, and I admit myself that it was a huge mistake that I made, that I wasn't looking at the finances closely enough. And I wasn't looking at how much the whole was growing, how much we were throwing at sales and marketing, and how the sales were increasing, but not proportionately to the spend. And literally 6 months later, he just said to me, we've run out of money. And I was like, seriously? And he said, I've been telling you for the last 6 months. And to be fair, he probably was. But I was running ragged, trying to do so many things, and I did find it difficult to recruit a really good team at that level. And so all of a sudden, I literally had to go back to the investors with a begging bowl to say, we're going to be in financial trouble. Yeah, we can close the company down. But look, we've got Credit Suisse. I don't know if I'm allowed to say these things. We've got this bank, that bank, that bank, that bank, this multinational, that multinational. I mean, we had a fantastic client list who were all working with us, who were all giving us regular business. The publishing side wasn't going so well. This was the time when e-learning was really taking off and e-books were taking off, and we were still, textbooks, right? So that was a real challenge. But I have to say, they came up with the goods again. 2 of my investors just immediately said, you know what, we believe in you. And they put their hands into their pockets and they covered whatever we needed. Now, at that stage, we had to do a big cull in the company, and I had to literally let go of 35% of my staff. And that was really, really hard to do. Those were the most difficult days of my life. And I still kick myself for letting us get into that position, but this is what you need to hear. This is what happens, and you really need to. You need to keep a grip on your finances. Even if you've got a finance director, don't ever make the excuse of saying, I'm not good with numbers, I have someone else. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to be good with numbers. You have to understand those numbers. You have to understand those KPIs. You need to see what your drivers are, and I really let myself down. Being a chartered accountant, I let myself down.
Maybe the kind of thing that, okay, I will catch it whenever it happens.
You know?
Yeah. So you talked a lot about networking, having a good mentor, working with the expert team.
Yeah.
Anything else which really which you would give like key advice to the startups that keep it, like you so authoritatively saying that keep a tab on your
Keep a tab on finances. Get the right kind of experts. Think about who, look, at the end of the day, a business is sales and expenses, right? Either you need to get your sales, you need to get your sales to go up, and you need to keep those costs under control. One of the other things we did was we went too wide. Our training in the beginning was just finance training. It was finance and accounting training. Then a company would come to us and say, oh, we need some soft skills training, can you do that? And I'd be like, yeah, of course we can do that. That's easy. But then you start getting diverted. And as soon as you get diverted, what is bringing in the money? Have you got cost sheets that show you finance training is actually giving you a return of 35%, soft skills is giving you a return of 5%, and there's 50 million people in the marketplace doing it. Do you really want to be doing that? So really being focused, keep the main thing the main thing. That's the other thing that I would say.
Very key advice, because I run a startup and I know a lot of people will be able to resonate that whichever, we can do this, we can do that, but positioning or your thing, by definition is exclusionary. You should know what you don't want to do.
That's true. But then again, you also have to be very sensitive to the market. There's this brilliant quote that Dr. Anupam Saraf, who was at the other event that you spoke at, he said, it was from Alice in Wonderland, and it's, I think the Queen of Hearts says to Alice that you need to run twice as fast as you did before, just to stand still. And that's what the market's like today. You need to be running twice as fast, because if you're not, you're going to go backwards, right? And so you do need to be sensitive to the market. So there's one really important example I want to give you, and that is with publishing. Even though our accountancy publishing wasn't working that well, suddenly the Insurance Institute in India saw one of our textbooks and loved it. And they came to see us. And at this stage, I didn't believe that publishing was going to work. And I almost shooed them away and said, this is how much it's going to cost to do the textbook, and, yeah, we could do it. And they gave us a small order. And that small order turned into a massive order, to the extent that we now have 1 million people in India using our textbooks. Right? So unfortunately we don't get remunerated for 1 million. We do it on a fixed contract for them. But that's the impact that we've had, because they liked something that we did. So what I'm saying is, don't just say no, no, no. You have to be sensitive, and you have to look for, if it's a big institute, as the Insurance Institute of India is, and they're asking you to do something, try it. Try doing it, and a little portion of money, but don't go over that budget, and really give them exceptional customer service.
Customer service is one of
Customer service is, in this day and age, customer service is it. Your customer is not your customer. You only exist because of those people. And if you're not going to treat them well, then who are you going to treat well?
True. Well, one of the interesting things we see is that you've always seen a very rapid growth.
Yeah.
Whatever you did, be it at TiE or...
It's been 10 years at GTG.
1 million people are...
Yeah, no, that's true. Numbers-wise, we've really hit massive numbers.
It's massive.
Yeah.
And it's not always calculated in terms of the revenue numbers.
No, for me it never was. It was about making a difference for
making
people.
a difference.
Yeah.
So for the startups who are looking for that rapid growth,
Yeah.
this buzzword, right?
Yeah.
Hacking.
Yeah.
So what would be your practical advice that, this worked for me, and this is very recent, so I'm pretty sure those experiences will help.
So the thing is, I honestly believe there's no such thing as rapid growth, right? There's a lot of hard work before you get to that growth phase. Bamboo grows for 7 years below the ground before it starts to grow up, right? If you don't have that foundation, you can't have rapid growth. having said that, again, it's about looking for how you can get